Okay, so this week we're doing a deep dive on Netflix, right? Get ready for some serious streaming stats. We're talking about subscriber slowdowns, that whole ad revenue puzzle, and, well, let's just say a certain South Korean sensation might hold the key to the future. Intrigued.
Definitely intriguing.
We're basing our deep dive on this Reuters article, really interesting stuff, packed with numbers and analysis. By the end of this, you'll know exactly where Netflix stands right now, like beyond those attention-grabbing headlines, you know. So first up, analysts are saying this could be the slowest subscriber growth for Netflix in like 6 quarters.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
It's got to have investors sweating a bit, right?
Yeah, you could say that. See, Netflix has always been a Wall Street darling, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that has been because of their incredible subscriber growth, their stock price, their whole strategy. It's been all about adding more viewers, quarter after quarter.
Right. Growth is king.
Exactly. But the thing is, the streaming world is a whole different beast now. There's so much competition out there, and it's getting tougher and tougher for Netflix to maintain that, breakneck pace of growth. Investors are watching very, very closely to see how Netflix adapts.
And the numbers are definitely giving them something to think about. This article actually throws out a pretty stark number. They're predicting only 4 million new subscribers this quarter. 4 million. That just seems tiny compared to like a couple years ago.
Yeah, it is a significant drop. I mean, think about it. It wasn't that long ago they were adding tens of millions of subscribers every quarter.
They were on fire.
Right. Hit shows, global expansion. It felt unstoppable.
Exactly.
But those days of easy growth, yeah, those might be over. It seems like they've hit a plateau.
So now it's about navigating a whole new set of challenges. It's like that whole password sharing crackdown. They're really putting their foot down on that, huh?
Yeah, it's a big change.
It feels like everyone and their mother has borrowed a Netflix password at some point.
Right. But it makes sense from a financial standpoint. In the long run, they need to monetize those viewers. But there's no way around it. It's going to cause some friction.
Yeah. And probably impact those short-term subscriber numbers.
Most likely. It's a gamble.
Speaking of gambles, ads, that's their other big move, right?
Definitely a big move.
The article says the ad-supported plan is growing, but not as fast as some people hoped.
Yeah.
What do you think is going on there?
Well, it's a tough needle to thread, right?
Yeah.
They're introducing ads to a platform that was like the definition of a commercial-free experience.
Totally. Netflix was like the anti-ads champion.
Exactly. So they've got this challenge of convincing advertisers that, hey, our platform is worth your money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Netflix is kind of famous for being really secretive about their data.
So advertisers don't have as much info to work with?
Exactly. It makes it harder for advertisers to really target their campaigns effectively. And then you've got the impact on the actual user experience, right?
Yeah. Too many ads or the wrong kind of ads could really turn people off.
Right, exactly. And that's the last thing Netflix needs. They risk alienating subscribers, even those who specifically opted for the cheaper ad-supported plan.
It's a real balancing act. And get this, the article actually quotes this analyst, Ross Bennis, who estimates that Netflix is making less than $1 billion a year from ads in the US. Less than $1 billion. That's surprising, given how many people use Netflix.
Yeah, it's definitely a lower figure than many people anticipated.
So what does Netflix do?
Well, investors are going to be looking at those numbers very closely. To really boost ad revenue, Netflix might have to make some tough choices. Raising prices, maybe even getting rid of those ad-free plans altogether, or, and this is a big one, maybe even rethinking their whole approach to data and becoming more transparent with advertisers.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It makes you think, imagine you're Netflix. How do you convince people who are so used to that seamless commercial-free experience to suddenly embrace ads? That's a tough sell. But okay, Netflix is obviously about more than just its business model, right? At the end of the day, they're known for their content. This article mentioned that they're shifting their focus more towards revenue growth and margins. So what does that actually mean for the stuff we actually see on our screens, the shows, the movies?
It could mean that they start prioritizing those really big, splashy releases even more.
The stuff everyone's talking about.
Right, the kind of shows that generate a ton of buzz, draw in huge audiences, and hopefully bring in those new subscribers. We might see them focusing less on niche content and really emphasizing those surefire, crowd-pleasing hits.
And speaking of big, splashy hits, we can't forget about Squid Game. Season 2, here we come. The article specifically mentioned that, along with some other titles like The Accident and The Perfect Couple.
Yeah, all those have hit, written all over them.
They're definitely banking on those.
Big time. It's clear that they're banking on these shows to, well, first of all, attract new subscribers, obviously, but also to keep their existing subscribers hooked, make them less likely to cancel.
So could a South Korean thriller actually be the key to Netflix's future? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it really makes you think.
It does. What we know for sure is that Netflix is at a real crossroads. They've got to balance subscriber growth with new revenue streams and, of course, deliver the content that keeps us all coming back for more, all while staying ahead of the competition in this massive sea of streaming platforms.
It really makes you think, with all these streaming platforms out there vying for our attention, what does Netflix need to do to stay on top, Reinvent itself. Double down on those mega hits, become like the go-to for international content. It's definitely something to ponder. And on that note, that wraps up our Netflix deep dive for today. Hopefully you learned something new about the business of streaming. And hey, if you want to go even deeper, be sure to check out the full Reuters article. It's a really fascinating read, especially if you're into the entertainment industry.